What would you do if you came home one day and heard your silent child laughing for the first time in years? Before we begin, please hit that like button. Share this story with someone who needs hope today and subscribe to Viral Tales. We love hearing from you. So drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Marcus Bennett stood frozen in the hallway of his penthouse apartment, rainwater dripping from his expensive suit onto the marble floor. His briefcase hung loose in his hand. His shoes were soaked through. But none of that mattered because he heard something impossible. Laughter. Real, pure, joyful laughter. His heart stopped. He hadn't heard that sound in 3 years. Not since his wife died. And definitely not from his son. Marcus took slow, careful steps toward the living room. Each footfall felt heavy, like walking through a dream he was afraid to wake up from. The laughter grew louder. It was high-pitched and breathless, the kind of sound that only comes from true happiness. He reached the doorway and looked inside. What he saw made his knees weak. His 4-year-old son, Jamie, was standing, actually standing, on 2 feet. His small body was balanced on top of someone else's feet, bouncing up and down, giggling uncontrollably. His blonde hair bounced with each movement. His pale face was lit up with the biggest smile Marcus had ever seen. The legs belonged to Sophia, the new maid. She was lying flat on her back on the carpet, her legs up in the air like an airplane, holding Jamie steady as he laughed and laughed. Her dark curly hair was pulled back with a simple blue headband. She wore jeans and a plain white shirt. Nothing fancy, nothing special, but she was doing the impossible. Jamie's legs, the legs that had been weak and lifeless for years, were straightened. His knees bent as he bounced. His body moved with confidence Marcus had never seen before. Marcus felt like someone had punched him in the chest. This wasn't physical therapy. This wasn't medicine. This was just play. Simple, beautiful play. Sophia gently lowered her legs, bringing Jamie down to the carpet. She rolled him off carefully and helped him to his feet. She didn't hold him up. She didn't grab his arms. She just let him stand on his own. And he did. Jamie stood there, on his own 2 feet, smiling like nothing in the world could hurt him. The boy who doctors said could walk, but wouldn't. The boy who had been trapped in silence and fear for 3 long years. The boy Marcus had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to help. He was standing. Marcus's hand started shaking. His briefcase slipped from his fingers and hit the floor with a loud thud. Sophia looked up at the sound. Her warm brown eyes met his. She smiled, calm and gentle, like this was the most normal thing in the world. "Oh, hi, Mr. Bennett," she said softly, like she was greeting a neighbor, not her boss who was staring at Miracle. "What is this?" Marcus whispered. His voice cracked. "What are you doing?" Jamie turned his head at the sound of his father's voice. For a moment, their eyes met. Then something amazing happened. Jamie took a step, then another, then one more. 3 wobbly, uncertain, beautiful steps straight toward Marcus. Marcus dropped to his knees, so fast it hurt. He reached out and caught Jamie just before he stumbled. His arms wrapped around his son's small body, holding him close, feeling the warmth and weight of him in a way he hadn't felt in so long. Jamie laughed again, right in Marcus's ear. Tears filled Marcus's eyes. His whole body trembled as he held his son. He looked up at Sophia, still kneeling on the floor, unable to speak, unable to think, unable to understand. "I don't understand," he finally managed to whisper. "How did you do this?" The doctor said nothing would work. They said he wasn't ready. They said it was all in his mind. Sophia stood up slowly, brushing off her jeans. She looked at Marcus with something in her eyes that he couldn't quite name. It wasn't pity. It wasn't pride. It was something deeper. "You don't need to understand right now," she said gently. "Just hold him. Just be here with him." Marcus stood up, still holding Jamie tight against his chest. His son's little arms wrapped around his neck. The feeling of it made Marcus want to cry and laugh at the same time. "But how?" Marcus asked again. "I've paid for the best therapists, the best doctors, the best treatments. Nothing worked. Nothing even came close. And you just played with him, and now he's walking." Sophia tilted her head slightly. Her voice was quiet but strong. Jamie didn't need fixing, Mr. Bennett. He needed someone to meet him where he was. He needed play. He needed presence. He needed someone to stop trying so hard and just be with him. Marcus stared at her. His mind raced back through the last 3 years. All the appointments. All the clinical rooms with bright lights and cold floors. All the tests and measurements and progress reports. All the insurance forms and medical bills. All the times he walked past Jamie's bedroom door, heard silence, and kept walking because he didn't know what else to do. I thought I was helping him, Marcus said, his voice breaking. I thought if I spent enough money, if I found the right expert, if I tried hard enough, I could save him. Sophia's expression softened. Sometimes the things that heal us don't cost anything at all. Marcus sat down slowly on the couch, still holding Jamie. His son had stopped laughing now. He was calm, peaceful, curled up against Marcus's chest like he belonged there, like he'd always belonged there. Why did you do this? Marcus asked, looking at Sophia with desperate eyes. Why did you care so much? You've only worked here for 2 weeks. You're just supposed to clean and cook. Why did you spend time with him? Why did you try when everyone else gave up? Sophia hesitated. She looked at Jamie for a long moment, something sad and far away crossing her face. Then she sat down in the chair across from Marcus. Because I lost a child once, she said simply. The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus's breath caught in his throat. He waited, not daring to speak. Sophia continued, her voice steady but soft. He wasn't mine by blood. I was a live-in nanny for a little boy named Daniel. He was 3 years old. He had the same eyes as Jamie, the same fear, the same silence. She paused, looking down at her hands. His parents didn't believe in patience. They wanted fast results, quick fixes. When I told them Daniel needed time, needed gentleness, they got angry. They said I wasn't doing my job. They fired me. Sophia's voice got quieter. Daniel died a year later, in a hospital, alone. His parents called me to tell me. They said maybe I was right. Maybe they pushed too hard. But it was too late by then. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He couldn't imagine the pain in those words. I wasn't there when he passed, Sophia continued, finally looking up at Marcus. I never got to say goodbye. I've carried that with me every single day since. She looked at Jamie, sleeping peacefully in Marcus's arms. When I saw your son, I saw Daniel. I saw another child who just needed someone to slow down, someone to listen, someone to care. I couldn't save Daniel, but maybe I could help Jamie. The room fell silent, except for the sound of rain, hitting the windows outside. Marcus felt a tear roll down his cheek. He didn't wipe it away. He just sat there, holding his sleeping son, looking at this woman who had given him back something he thought was lost forever. I don't deserve this moment, he whispered. I don't deserve to be holding him while he's peaceful like this. I don't deserve his steps. I've been a terrible father. Sophia's eyes were kind but honest. Maybe you don't deserve it, but he does. Jamie deserves a father who shows up, who tries, who stays. The words hit Marcus like a punch. He looked down at Jamie's small face, so innocent and trusting. How many times had this little boy needed him? How many times had Marcus chosen work instead? Chosen money instead? Chosen anything instead of just being present? I haven't been a father, Marcus said, his voice shaking. I've just been a man who lives in the same house. A man who pays bills and hires people to do what I should be doing myself. Sophia didn't argue. She just listened. After my wife died, Marcus continued, I threw myself into work. I told myself it was for Jamie, that I needed to secure his future, make sure he had everything he needed. But the truth is, I was running away. Every time I looked at him, I saw her. I saw what we lost, and it hurt too much. His voice broke completely. So I hired people, therapists, nannies, nurses, specialists, anyone who could take care of him, so I didn't have to face the pain. I thought money could fix everything. I thought if I just spent enough, tried hard enough, someone would make him better, and I wouldn't have to feel anymore. Jamie stirred slightly in his arms but didn't wake up. Marcus held him closer. But you? Marcus looked at Sophia with red eyes. You didn't use any special techniques. You didn't have fancy degrees or expensive equipment. You just played with him. You just cared. And in 2 weeks, you did what 3 years of professionals couldn't do. Sophia shook her head gently. I didn't heal him, Mr. Bennett. Jamie was never broken. He was just scared. Scared of being alone. Scared of being pushed too hard. Scared that nobody really saw him. Marcus closed his eyes. The truth of her words cut deep. When his mother died, Sophia continued carefully. Jamie lost the person who knew him best, and then you disappeared into your grief. He lost both parents that day. His little mind couldn't handle it, so he stopped walking. Not because his legs didn't work, but because walking meant moving forward. And moving forward felt too scary when everything safe had disappeared. Marcus's shoulders shook. He buried his face in Jamie's hair, trying to hold back sobs. I abandoned him, he choked out. My own son. I abandoned him when he needed me most. Yes, Sophia said softly. But you're here now. That's what matters. They sat in silence for several minutes. Outside, the rain began to slow. Inside, something in Marcus was breaking open. Not breaking apart, but breaking open, like a shell cracking to let something new emerge. How do I fix this? Marcus finally asked, looking up at Sophia with desperate hope. How do I make up for 3 years of being absent? How do I become the father he deserves? Sophia leaned forward, her expression serious. You can't fix the past. You can only change what happens next. Jamie doesn't need your guilt. He needs your presence. Real presence. Not just being in the same room while you check your phone. Not just weekends when you're too tired to play. He needs you to show up every single day and choose him. Marcus nodded slowly. I'll stay home more. I'll rearrange my schedule. I'll cut back on meetings. Will you? Sophia asked, her voice gentle but challenging. Or will you say that now, feel good about it for a week, and then slowly slip back into old patterns? Because Jamie will know. Children always know when promises are empty. The question hung heavy in the air. Marcus looked down at his son again, at the peaceful face, at the small hands resting against his chest, at the steady breathing. This little person trusted him completely right now. Could he really keep that trust? Could he really change? I don't know if I can do it, Marcus admitted, his voice barely a whisper. I don't know if I know how to be what he needs. I've spent 3 years building walls. I don't know if I remember how to let someone in. Sophia stood up and walked over to them. She knelt down beside the couch, looking Marcus straight in the eyes. It's not about being perfect, she said. It's about being present. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to be here. Sit on the floor and stack blocks with him. Read him stories. Hold his hand. Let him see that you're not going anywhere. What if I fail? Marcus asked, what if I try and I'm still not enough? Then you try again the next day, Sophia said simply. And the day after that, and the day after that. That's what love is, Mr. Bennett. It's not a feeling. It's a choice you make over and over again. Marcus felt something shift inside him, a small crack of light breaking through years of darkness. Will you help me? He asked. Will you stay and help me learn how to be his father again? Sophia smiled, but there was something sad in it. I can stay for a while, but eventually it has to be just you and him. He needs to know that you won't disappear, that you're not going to hand him off to someone else when things get hard. I won't, Marcus said, and for the first time in 3 years, he meant it. I promise I won't. Sophia stood up. Good, because tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up early. You're going to make breakfast with him. You're going to sit on the floor and play. You're going to be present for every small moment. No phone, no laptop, no distractions. Just you and Jamie. Marcus nodded, feeling both terrified and hopeful. Okay. And Mr. Bennett, Sophia added, turning back at the doorway. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to want to quit. But on those days, remember this moment. Remember how it felt to hold him while he trusted you completely. Let that be enough to keep going. She left the room quietly. Marcus sat alone with his son, listening to the rain finally stop outside. He looked around the enormous penthouse with its expensive furniture and perfect decorations and realized how empty it all was. How cold, how lifeless. None of it mattered. Not the money, not the success, not the image he'd built. The only thing that mattered was the small, warm body in his arms. "I'm sorry," Marcus whispered to Jamie, even though his son was sleeping. "I'm so sorry I wasn't there. But I'm here now, and I'm not leaving. I promise." Jamie shifted slightly, and his small hand grabbed onto Marcus's shirt, holding tight even in sleep. Marcus kissed the top of his son's head and closed his eyes, making a silent vow. Tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow would be the first day of becoming the father Jamie deserved. And this time, he wouldn't break his promise. The next morning felt different. Sunlight poured through the tall windows of the penthouse, painting everything gold. The smell of pancakes drifted from the kitchen, where Sophia was humming a soft tune. But the biggest difference wasn't the light or the smell. It was Marcus Bennett. Still home at 8 in the morning. He sat cross-legged on the carpet in his white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up. No tie, no jacket, no briefcase waiting by the door. Just Marcus, sitting on the floor, watching his son play with colorful blocks. Jamie was stacking them carefully, his small tongue poking out in concentration. Each time he added a block, he looked at his father with bright eyes, checking if Marcus was watching. Marcus was watching, really watching, not glancing up from his phone, not half paying attention while thinking about work. He was fully present. Jamie reached for another block and wobbled forward. He lost his balance and fell onto his bottom. Marcus's whole body tensed. His hands moved to catch Jamie, to help him up, to fix it. But before he could move, something incredible happened. Jamie pushed himself back up on his own. He giggled, grabbed the block he wanted, and went back to building. Like falling was no big deal. Like he'd done it 100 times before, Marcus felt his eyes sting with tears. This little boy, who'd been frozen in fear for 3 years, was trying again, falling and getting back up. No fear, no hesitation. "You look surprised." Marcus turned to see Sophia standing in the doorway, a kitchen towel in her hands, watching them with a gentle smile. "I am surprised," Marcus admitted, his voice thick with emotion. A few weeks ago, he wouldn't even stand. Now he's falling down and getting back up like it's nothing. Sophia walked into the room and sat down in a nearby chair. "That's because he's not afraid anymore. He knows someone's here. Someone who won't leave." Marcus looked at his son, then back at Sophia. "I used to think he was broken, that something inside him was damaged and needed to be repaired." "He was never broken," Sophia said gently. "He was just waiting for you to slow down, waiting for you to stop trying to fix him and just be with him." Marcus stood up slowly, his knees cracking from sitting on the floor. He walked to the window and looked out at the city below. People rushing everywhere, cars honking, everyone in a hurry to get somewhere. That had been him, always rushing, always moving to the next thing, never stopping to just be. "I rushed everything," he said quietly. His healing, his childhood, even his grief. "I wanted him to get better fast, so I could stop feeling guilty, so I could stop hurting." Sophia didn't respond. She just waited. Marcus turned around to face her. "How do I make sure I don't go back to that? How do I stay here in this moment, when everything in my life is built around moving fast and working hard?" Sophia set down the towel and looked at him seriously. "You make a choice every single day. When your alarm goes off, you choose him. When your phone rings with work emergencies, you choose him. When you're tired and frustrated and want to quit, you choose him. Over and over and over again." "That sounds exhausting," Marcus said with a sad smile. "It is," Sophia agreed, "but it's also the only thing that matters." Jamie made a happy sound and knocked over his tower of blocks. He clapped his hands and started building again. Marcus watched him for a moment, then knelt down beside his son. He picked up a toy dinosaur from the pile of toys and held it up. "Hey, buddy, want to play with this?" Jamie's eyes lit up. He dropped the blocks and crawled over to Marcus. Then, without any help, he climbed into Marcus's lap and curled up against his chest. Marcus froze. His arms slowly wrapped around his son, holding him close. Jamie fit perfectly there, like he'd always belonged in that space. No fear, no hesitation, just pure trust. "I can't believe I almost missed this," Marcus whispered, his voice breaking. "I almost missed everything." "But you didn't," Sophia said softly from her chair. "You're here now. That's all that matters." There was a long pause. The morning light shifted, making the room brighter. Jamie yawned and played with a dinosaur, making it walk across Marcus's arm. Marcus looked at Sophia, really looked at her. This woman who had walked into his life 2 weeks ago and changed everything. This woman who had given him back his son. This woman who had shown him what he'd been missing. "Will you stay?" he asked suddenly. Sophia raised her eyebrows. "As Jamie's nanny?" "No," Marcus said, his voice more serious now. "As part of our family." The words hung in the air. Sophia blinked, clearly surprised. "Mr. Bennett, I'm just a maid. I clean your house and watch Jamie while you work. That's all." "No." Marcus shook his head firmly. "You're not just anything. You saved my son. You saved me. You showed us both how to live again. That's not something small. That's everything." Sophia stood up, looking uncomfortable. "I appreciate that, but I don't think." "I'm not asking you to marry me," Marcus interrupted quickly, then laughed nervously. "I mean, not now. Not like this. I'm just asking if you'll stay. If you'll keep helping us figure this out. If you'll be here while Jamie and I learn how to be a family again." Sophia crossed her arms, studying him carefully. "Why?" "Because Jamie trusts you," Marcus said simply, "and because I need someone who will call me out when I start slipping back into old habits. Someone who will remind me what actually matters. Someone who sees past the money and the success and just sees us." Jamie looked up at his father, then at Sophia. His little face was serious, like he understood this was an important moment. Sophia was quiet for a long time. She looked at Jamie, then at Marcus, then out the window. "I lost a child once," she said softly. "I swore I'd never get that attached again. It hurt too much when I had to leave." "Then don't leave," Marcus said. "Stay. Be here. Let us be your family, too." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. She looked away, trying to hide them. "I have one condition," she finally said. "Anything," Marcus replied immediately. "You have to mean it. Every word. Every promise. Because if you start choosing work over Jamie again, if you start disappearing, I won't stay and watch another child suffer. I'll leave, and I won't come back." Marcus stood up, still holding Jamie. He walked over to Sophia and looked her straight in the eyes. "I mean it," he said firmly. "I'm done running. I'm done hiding. I'm done pretending that money and success matter more than this. My son needs me, and I need to be here. I promise you, on everything I have, I will not abandon him again." Sophia searched his face, looking for any hint of doubt or dishonesty. She must have found what she was looking for, because she smiled. "Okay," she said quietly. "I'll stay." Jamie squealed with happiness, like he understood exactly what had just happened. He reached out for Sophia, and she took him from Marcus's arms, spinning him around while he giggled. Marcus watched them, feeling something warm spread through his chest. Hope. Real, genuine hope for the first time in 3 years. That afternoon, Marcus called his office. He told them he'd be working from home indefinitely. He'd attend only essential meetings. Everything else could wait. His assistant was shocked. His business partners were confused. His board members were concerned. But Marcus didn't care. He sat on the floor with Jamie and Sophia, playing with blocks and dinosaurs and toy cars. He made silly voices. He laughed when Jamie knocked over the towers they built. He held his son when Jamie got tired and needed a hug. He was present, fully, completely present. As the sun set that evening, Marcus tucked Jamie into bed. He read 3 stories, sang a lullaby his wife used to sing, and kissed his son's forehead. "Good night, buddy," Marcus whispered. "I love you." Jamie smiled sleepily. "Love you, Daddy." Marcus's breath caught. Those were the first words Jamie had spoken in months. He walked out Jamie's room with tears streaming down his face. Sophia was waiting in the hallway. "He called me Daddy," Marcus said, his voice shaking with joy. "He hasn't said that in so long." Sophia smiled. "He knows you're back. He knows you're staying." Marcus pulled her into a hug, grateful beyond words. "Thank you. Thank you for giving me my life back." Sophia hugged him back. "You did that yourself. I just reminded you what mattered." They stood there for a moment, two broken people who'd found healing in the most unexpected way, through a little boy who taught them both that love wasn't about money or perfection, or having all the answers. Love was about showing up. Love was about staying. Love was about choosing each other every single day, no matter what. And that was enough. That was more than enough. That was everything.